Everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. On this episode, we're talking espionage, action, and the art of storytelling. And delighted to be talking with author Simon Gervais. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining, Simon.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Super nice to be here.
Absolutely glad to have you. I know that you have a writing partner, Ryan Steck. Anything that you'd like to go ahead and disclose about Ryan before we begin the interview?
Well, there's a lot I'd like to disclose about him, but I don't think he's going to be very happy if I spill out of his secrets. But for today's perspective, unfortunately, Ryan won't be able to join us. I just spoke with him, and he's not feeling well, so I think he's going to be out of commission for the next 2, 3 days. So, I'll do my very best to fill in his very big shoes.
Sending all the care, absolutely. And we're talking about Second Son on this episode and the character of Chase Burke. I'm curious about your origins as an author, and particularly curious about how you made your way into co-authorship as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about myself. My path to writing was not typical. I don't have a university degree. I don't have a MFA. I have none of that. I joined the military when I was 17 years old. I began as an infantry officer with the Canadian Forces, where I specialize in advanced reconnaissance and small unit tactics. And when my military contract ended, I joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, which for American friends, it's like the DEA, the FBI, the ATF, the Secret Service all roll into one big organization. I love my previous career. It was a lot of fun. I protected the family of three different Canadian prime minister. I protected visiting heads of state to Canada, including Queen Elizabeth II, President Barack Obama, and so many others. I've always been a big reader. Um, Even when I was in the military, I always loved espionage thriller, military thriller, Webb Griffin, Tom Clancy, all these big American literary icon. I couldn't read enough. Um, so at some point, I think I just decided to try my luck. And it took me 7 years to write my first book because I was working full time as a RCMP officer at the time. And in 2015, I got my first book published. And what took me 7 years to do, then my publisher wanted me to have another book ready in 12 months. And I didn't know exactly how I was going to be able to do that. So after consultation with my wife, who has always been ultra supportive of my creative efforts, I decided to jump in with 2 feet, and it was a huge leap of faith. And I started writing full time at the time, and I'm 17 books in right now, and it went really well for me. As for your question about co-authorship, um, I guess the path to get there is different for a lot of authors. Like I have friends like Andrews and Wilson that just wrote the Tom Clancy. They're writing the Tier 1 series. They have their own kingdom. They're a good friend of mine. They're really good. I don't really know how they joined forces, but for me and Ryan, it was really about he was doing his own thing. I was doing my own thing. I wrote. It was not a real co-authorship, but I did write a book for the Robert Ludlum estate and the Jason Bourne universe. Um,
Mhm.
and I kind of enjoyed also writing characters that I did not necessarily, well, I did create the characters, but not in the universe I created it. So anyway, long story short, um, Thomas and Mercer, my publisher since 2019, really the publisher that I owe my writing career to, usually only publish one of my book a year. And I had some, I wouldn't say spare time, but I can do more than one book a year. And Ryan and I have been friends since 2015 because he used to be the real book spy. He still is the real book spy, and he's covering my stuff from since 2015. He covered my debut, and we remain friends and we talk a lot. And at some point, I don't remember who pitched who, but we came up with an idea and we had time to do it. And we decided to do a collab. And thankfully, my publisher bought a two-book deal and a preempt. And this is how our collaboration started. Started as friendship, and now we're a business partner.
It's nice. Well, I'm curious about the character of Chase Burke and how this character has come to be. You were talking about Jason Bourne, so we know that there's something that a character carries into a series like this. What were the ingredients that you had in mind?
So Ryan and I kind of both came up with different things. Ryan is well known to write Everyday American. Matthew Red, this is who he is in his books. I'm more sometimes a little bit over the top with um, I don't know how to say that. Like in one of my see the Elias Network, it's all about high concept spy thriller, very
Mm-hmm.
Ludlum-esque, like we said. But and this time I wanted to do a little bit of that mix with what Ryan had in mind. And at the time when we started collaborating, my wife and I were taking our sommelier course because I'm big into wine. I'm a little bit of a wine snob. I love my wine, and I need to understand where it comes, why it tastes what it tastes. So I said, why don't we do an ex-soldier turned sommelier? And Ryan said, yeah, but I don't want to do like ex-Navy SEAL or Special Forces. Let's do it just like a regular US Army guy that used to work in PsyOps because he has a bachelor degree, he has a master degree. I like an intelligent enlisted man. Like, not always go with the officer because the enlisted are really the people who carry the army. So I wanted to represent them well. I don't want it to have an officer all the time because in my previous book, since I was an infantry officer, I always tried to dig into my background. But then again, I wanted to do something else, and Ryan was on board with that. So, what's carrying Chase Berg through this story is that he's the protagonist, but in the book, we called it the second son because he has a older brother, and his older brother eclipsed him in everything. He's a better FBI agent. He thinks his IQ is more high. His mother loves him, doesn't really like Chase. So, in the first chapter of the second son, it's not really a secret. Like the big brother dies, and Chase is like by himself now, and his brother is accused of being a traitor. And just Chase wants to clear his name because he knows his brother. His brother is not a traitor. So this is what he's getting into. And this is about a hero that always been stepped on his entire life and finally decides I'm going to take my place and I'm going to prove what I'm able to do.
It's nice. Anything that you'd like to say about the creative process, sort of go back and forth between you and Ryan that you'd like to mention?
So what Ryan and I like to say is that we came into this project with no ego. So we're equal partners in this. Um, our creative process might be different than others. We pitch ourselves like general arcs of a story, the outline. So I'm gonna come up with an outline with Ryan's input. I'm gonna make sure that he's satisfied. Then I hand it to him. He writes parts of the book, shows it to me, I do my edit, and then we work together like this until we're both happy, and then we give it to our editor at Thomas and Mercer, Release Persons. And then there's a developmental edit that takes a month or two, and we work the three of us together to make the best book we can. So this is really how we do it. We chat a lot on the phone, and something that's funny that we mentioned in all our interview. Ryan and I have been friends for 10 years, but we've never met in person. It's all about Zoom, FaceTime, phone call. But we feel we know each other. We work together really well, even though we've never met.
Love it. A great ingredient for success, right? The back and forth, and then having an editor that works with you both.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been with Liz Persons at Thomas and Mercer since I think she bought my book in 2018, Hunt Them Down, which was really my breakthrough novel, came out in January 2019. And this is really what made me known in the thriller world, was Hunt Them Down. And the entire team at Amazon Publishing, Thomas and Mercer, has been ultra supportive of me and my career the last 6 years. The team is incredible, totally incredible. I'm really, really proud to be with them.
Nice, nice. I know that there's a great deal of research that also goes into a project like this, into a series like this. Anything that you'd like to say about that as far as digging into the details of what grounds this sort of series in reality?
Well, of course, I use my background as a former federal agent and infantry officer to try to ground, especially the action scenes. As for the day-to-day in the book, I talk a lot about wine. So
Hmm.
it's a
Love it.
research for me that was a lot of fun to do. Um, and Ryan brings a lot as well. He doesn't have a past military career, but he has read thousands of thrillers. So he knows how to format something. He knows how to keep it super tense. Um, so I think this is how we do it, and we're super proud of the second son.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anything that you'd like to mention that readers can expect? And then also, where can people find out more about you, about Ryan, and the work?
Well, I have a website at simongervaisbooks.com. You can see Ryan Steck. If you Google him, you're going to have a lot of hits on the page. Um, we're presently we're 99% done on The Mark Son, which is going to be the sequel to The Second Son. It's going to come out in November 2026. Of course, The Second Son is going to be out on December 1st. Ryan is also writing for the Ted Bell estate. So there's going to be another book of his Warmonger coming out shortly. Um, as for me, the Elias Enigma, which is the sequel to the Elias Network, another great book of mine, um, came out last July, and the third book, the Elias Conspiracy, is coming out next July. So we've been very busy. I think Ryan has 3 books coming out this year. I have 2, so we're just doing our very best to keep pumping them out.